Poverty doesn't always look like an empty fridge. Sometimes it looks like a stable job, a decent apartment, and a phone full of unopened banking app notifications you're too scared to check. There's a kind of poor that doesn't show up in your bank balance. It shows up in your habits, and almost nobody sees it coming. We've been taught to think of poverty as a number. Below this line, you're poor. Above it, you're fine. But that's not how it actually works anymore. There's an invisible trap that catches people who are technically doing okay, people with jobs, people with degrees, people who look, from the outside, completely stable. And the strange part is, they built the trap themselves, one small decision at a time, without ever noticing. Let's talk about what that actually looks like. It's a Tuesday night. You just got paid 3 days ago. You open your banking app, not because you need to, but out of habit, the same way you check a wound to see if it's healing. It isn't. The number is smaller than you expected. You don't remember spending that much. You never do. You scroll back through your transactions. A delivery order at 11 p.m. because cooking felt impossible after a 10-hour day. A subscription you forgot you had. Something you bought on sale that you didn't need but felt in that exact moment like the only thing that could make the day feel less heavy. None of these purchases were reckless on their own. That's the part that makes this trap so quiet. No single decision destroys you. It's the pattern. And patterns are invisible until you're already living inside one. This is the first truth about the invisible poverty trap. It isn't built from big mistakes. It's built from 1,000 small ones that all felt reasonable at the time.
Here's the second truth, and it's uncomfortable. Being tired is expensive. Think about your average week. You wake up already behind. You commute, you work, you come home with nothing left. In that state, convenience isn't a luxury anymore. It's survival. You order food instead of cooking, not because you're lazy, but because your brain has nothing left to give. You buy the easier option, the faster option, the option that costs a little more but demands nothing from you. Multiply that by every exhausted decision you make in a month. That's not weakness. That's a system working exactly as designed. Modern life drains you just enough that comfort stops being a want and starts being the only thing keeping you upright. And comfort, it turns out, is one of the most expensive things a tired person can buy. Now, here's where it gets deeper. Why do we keep repeating habits we know are hurting us? Because the brain doesn't care about your bank balance in 5 years, it cares about relief right now. A stressful day gets soothed by a purchase. A boring evening gets filled by scrolling. A feeling of falling behind gets numbed by 40 minutes of watching other people's highlight reels, which somehow makes you feel even further behind. This is the cycle. Stress creates the urge for relief. Relief creates a habit. The habit creates a cost. The cost creates more stress, and the loop starts again, quietly in the background of a normal, functioning life. You're not broken for falling into this. Your brain is doing exactly what brains have always done. It's just that modern life has learned how to exploit that wiring better than any generation before you has had to deal with.
Let's talk about the scrolling, because it deserves its own moment. You pick up your phone to check one notification. 40 minutes later, you're still there, half numb, half aware that you're watching someone else's vacation, someone else's business, someone else's body, someone else's life that looks nothing like yours. That 40 minutes wasn't just lost time. It was a 40-minute reminder that you're behind. And somehow the tool that was supposed to be entertainment ends up quietly convincing you that everyone else figured out something you haven't. This is what makes distractions so dangerous. It doesn't just steal time, it steals your sense of where you stand. And when you don't know where you stand, you can't move forward. You just stay in place, scrolling, comparing, absorbing a version of reality designed to keep you watching. Here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. Staying stuck is comfortable, not enjoyable. Comfortable. Change requires facing what isn't working. It requires opening the banking app and actually reading the numbers instead of glancing and closing it. It requires sitting with boredom instead of numbing it. It requires disappointing yourself in the short term so you can stop disappointing yourself in the long term. Most people don't stay stuck because they're incapable of change. They stay stuck because the pain of staying the same is quieter than the pain of confronting themselves, and quiet pain is easy to ignore for years. That's exactly how it gets away with it. Now, think about where this leads if nothing changes. You're 25, then you're 30, then you're 35, and the same pattern is still running in the background, except now there's less time to fix it, less energy to start over, more weight from years of habits that were never confronted, only avoided. This is the actual cost of the invisible poverty trap. It's not just about money, it's about time. Every year you spend numbing the discomfort instead of facing it is a year you don't get back. And the trap doesn't announce itself. It just quietly collects years while you're busy surviving the day in front of you. But here's something important. Noticing the trap is not the same as being trapped forever. The moment you can name a pattern, you take away some of its power. When you understand that impulse spending is really about exhaustion, not carelessness, you stop blaming yourself and start addressing the actual cause. When you understand that scrolling is about comparison, not entertainment, you can choose differently, because now you're seeing it clearly instead of living inside it blindly. This isn't about becoming a different person overnight. It's about becoming someone who notices, someone who checks the bank account not out of fear, but out of awareness, someone who feels the urge to hoarder out at 11 p.m. and pauses just long enough to ask what they're actually trying to escape. That pause is where everything changes, not the big dramatic moment, just the pause. You are not behind because you're not smart enough. You are not stuck because you're lazy. You are living inside a system engineered to keep tired, stressed people spending, scrolling, and numbing. That system doesn't care about you, but you can still learn to see it. And once you see it, you stop being poor in the way that actually matters. Not richer necessarily, not yet, but awake, which is the only place real change has ever started from. The video closes not on triumph, but on quiet clarity. The idea that awareness itself is the first real exit from the trap, without promising an instant fix or false motivation.